I think we've played out those cards. That's the only thing about Deluca. Like, we've had those flashbacks. We had the beach. We did all that. And he kind of rode off into the sunset with his mother. And it's sort of like when you make a final image so kind of beautiful and complete, I feel like to add anything else would take away from it.
Deluca obviously had a good running there with as a Meredith love interest. I think a lot of people were rooting for those two. It's hard shoes to fill after McDreamy. Now she's got a whole other love triangle going on. Do you think Deluca and Meredith should have ended up together? Do you have any opinions on how that character should end?
I think the only opinion I have is that a large part of Deluca and Meredith's demise was due to the fact that he was wrestling with his mental illness and wasn't stable and hadn't sought out the support system that he then later received, allowing him to gain stability in his life. So just before Deluca dies, the whole hospital is seeing him, upgraded to an attending. He's medicated. He's doing therapy. He's exercising. He's eating well. He's making sure he's getting enough sleep at night. He's making sure he's got a good work and personal life balance. All of these things that keep your mental health stable. So the only thing that I would like to say is I was curious that, seeing Deluca stable, it would have been interesting to see if there could have been sort of a coming back of Meredith and Deluca, that he was in maybe a better state of mind to be open to a romantic relationship and be able to give it his all.
Did you have a favorite Deluca storyline in general over all of the seasons?
Yeah, there was one where we actually did a story on this. There's a woman and her husband who had a young girl, a baby, and she had a heart condition. The baby was still in the womb, and every doctor had told this family that there was no way that they could really save this young girl. But she remembered she saw an episode of Grey's Anatomy where they performed this sort of miraculous surgery and saved this baby. So she got onto researching and found this doctor, because they're in Dubai. This couple is in Dubai, and they found someone in the States, a surgeon in the States, who could perform this surgery. And he said, "Get on a plane right now and I'll save your baby's life." And he did. And so they now have this beautiful young daughter who's healthy and beautiful. And I've spoken with the family and with her, and it always sort of warms my heart that, a storyline that Deluca was a part of in real life, saving this young baby. So that's probably like the best so far.
That is very cool. The power of Greys, man. I love it. Now, obviously, with this show, there is an element of you're gone, but are you ever really totally gone? We saw people on a beach. I know Deluca was on the beach for a second. Would you ever pop up in a ghost capacity, a flashback capacity, anything like that in the future?
I think we've played out those cards. That's the only thing about Deluca. Like, we've had those flashbacks. We had the beach. We did all that. And he kind of rode off into the sunset with his mother. And it's sort of like when you make a final image so kind of beautiful and complete, I feel like to add anything else would take away from it. So I don't know. I mean, never say never. But I mean, to answer the first part of your question, that I don't think, if you're a true Grey's Anatomy fan, as you say you are, then a lot of characters have left and come and gone. And they never really leave because they're mentioned, they're thought of, there's a picture on a wall in a scene if you look close enough. So they're always present in the hallways, where even if they're not referenced. You might be watching a scene and you might sort of drift off for a second and go, "Oh my God, I remember in this exact room, there was this other scene with this other actor." And that. So I think watching Grey's Anatomy, you always feel the characters that have come and gone.
That's very true. Well, I don't know if you just saw this, but Shonda just actually said that she's written the endings 8 times, but now they've used them all because the show never ends. Do you have...
I have not read that. No, that's funny.
You just said it. And I think, it's always this back and forth. And Ellen, it's like, when is it going to end? And I don't think people even want it to, but do you have any sort of idea of how you think that show should end, or should it go forever? Or what do you think?
I don't know. I feel like every year that I've been on the show, I've said this would be a really good year to end it. And then we went another one and another one and another one. So I don't know. Is there other stories left to tell? Sure, maybe. I think the success of Grey's Anatomy, apart from its cast and creatives, is I think the model, the formula, right? The Grey's Anatomy audience member knows what to expect, and they're given it every week. That little bit of drama, a little bit of sexy, the romance, the heartbreak, and then all these amazing medical cases that you learn about, shedding light on conditions or organizations or individuals who aren't represented. You're getting all of those things. So you could keep doing that forever. There's no sort of shortage of problems we have to solve or things or issues we need to talk about. So from that point of view, you could do it forever. But I don't know. I think in terms of Meredith Grey being Grey's Anatomy, I think there's a lot that has been told, and I think they're perfectly poised at any point to close. It just depends on what, Ellen wants to keep doing it, if Krista wants to keep doing it, the other actors want to keep doing it. But I
just want to give you the floor to tell me about the No Shoulder campaign and this partnership and why it's so important to you.
Okay. The program is called No Cold Shoulder, and it's the second year that we're doing it. The reason we're doing it, is because Nobis has a big and has a history of giving back and having that be a really big pillar of the brand itself, apart from being, an elite outerwear fashion brand. But I think the reason why Robin and a lot of our team from Nobis wanted to do this again and see if we could be something that we keep doing year after year is because how successful it was during probably one of the most difficult times. We launched it during the height of the pandemic last year with a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, a lot of shipping and distribution sectors were shut down, making it very difficult to get product to people. A big part of our campaign is these reusable and recyclable bags that we send. So getting them printed, getting them, when a company puts things together, there's a lot of trials before getting to the final product. So when you have shipping shut down, we don't have that luxury anymore. So you have to kind of cross your fingers and say, well, I hope it looks good. I hope we did all the measurements right. I hope so of course there were some hitches. Of course there were some difficulties, but overall we got a lot of jackets to a lot of people that needed them. And that was what warmed our hearts and what we want to continue to expand upon this year, now that the world has slightly adjusted to this new way of working.
And from my understanding, you get your reusable bag and you send your jacket to help someone who, needs to stay warm and might not have access to a jacket. And you get
Correct.
This mailer back with a beanie and some fun stuff in it.
Yes. Yeah. So any purchase made on Nobis.com gets you that beanie and, for free. That's sort of our way of saying thank you for participating in this campaign. And you'll also be sent one of those resealable bags where you can put your gently used jacket in. Our slogan at the moment for this is think globally, act locally, because we've partnered with so many people across the world to make sure that wherever you're going and you're donating your bag, it's going to be brought to somewhere in your local community. So we've partnered with a lot of different organizations, One Warm Coat, New Circles, Toronto. So there's a lot of people based on where you're donating. You'll be giving a coat to someone in your direct community, which is a cool thing.